Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Wednesday night match day preview, match reaction. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of everything. We've got to start, obviously, with sadly, yesterday's 2-0 defeat at home to Rotherham. But first of all, it would be amiss of me to say, without saying a huge thank you to all of our Ko-Fi supporters, as you can see here. New boards, courtesy of the main man, George Nunn. Absolutely huge thank you to all of our TT Fifth Stand Ultra members. As you can see on the screen here, there are some names to be added, and I'll read them out now. Some of the anonymouses have come forward, and also on the list is the Durrants, all 5 of the Durrants, and Michael Woods. A huge thank you to all of you, and a thank you for your birthday wishes today. That's right, I am 32 years of age today. I don't feel any different than yesterday. A little bit more pissed off, maybe, but that's nothing to do with my age. That's just to do with my football team. But a huge thank you for all of your birthday messages, wishes. It truly means a lot. Before we get going into Rotherham, I'm going to bring in the Cruncher in a second, and we're going to talk some Ipswich Town women's. They won last weekend. Another game this weekend coming up. We've got manager Joe Sheehan joining us. Looking forward to getting his thoughts. Let's first of all get a few thoughts from the chat. We've got Ben's going, him and Josh are going to Witten. Mike says, happy birthday, you beautiful man, Gov. Thank you very much. Graham Gunner says, 352, give Bond some help. Can it be any worse? Well, on that note, let's bring the Cruncher in, because I think he's got something about the tactics himself. Oh, hello. I can bring him in. Hey!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gov. Happy birthday to you.
Don't you make me blush. Thank you very much. How are you, Mr. Moss? How are you?
Well, I'm warmer than I was last night. I'm still not very happy, but we've got a lovely drop of Tom James inspired. He named this beer Christmas Sacker.
He did. Very well done too, Tom. He's also joining us this evening.
Ince Pies.
Yes, I saw that. My little collection arrived today with a lovely Away Days t-shirt. Thank you very much for that, Josh. I've already had the Ince Pies. The Gov has had the beer inspired by the Gov on the pitch. That's probably why we had a bit of a ropey start to tonight's show. Look, let's park the negative and let's go with the positive straight out of the bat, and then we'll go to the negative because we've got to get to it eventually. But let's go with the positive. Joe's joining us. Talk to us first of all about the season they've had. Duncan, £20 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. But yeah, let's park the negative very quickly and let's talk the positive. Let's talk about the Ipswich Town women's team for 10 or so minutes. Rich, talk to me about them before we bring Joe in.
Flying, didn't they? So went to Southampton on Sunday, big game. Obviously, they lost the week before in the League Cup to them 1-0. By all reports, a little bit unlucky, but they went there Sunday away. A crowd just under 1,000, Martin, 932, and they come away with a brilliant 2-0 win. So top of the league, 11 games, 11 wins. So 33 points, and Southampton are on 24 in second place, but they've got 2 games in hand. So and they play each other. I think it's one of the last games of the season. So just got to keep it up, keep winning them games.
They have.
It's all good. It's all good stuff.
Should we get him in?
Yeah, bring him in.
Right, so joining us on the show now is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Ipswich Town FC women's manager, Joe Sheehan. Joe, welcome.
Good evening. How are you?
Very well. It's good to talk about something positive for a change that has the name Ipswich Town attached to it. And your ladies' team, your women, they certainly bring a lot of energy and a lot of positivity to the badge. Talk to us about last weekend, first of all, because you beat Southampton. And there's a backstory to that as well, isn't there?
There is, yeah. Well, backstory, I don't know. Was there?
Well, there's a story around it in the sense of there was something going on that afternoon as well. You know, they were filming something.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's my poor words.
Yeah, we faced Southampton last week, who are a team that are unbeaten or were unbeaten in our division, had won all of their games. We'd played them two weeks previous, as you mentioned, in the League Cup, which was an interesting encounter because I think neither of us wanted to kind of show our hand, should we say. And yeah, we were edged out in that one, but I think we took a lot of confidence from it. We'd actually played Southampton twice previously, one many years ago and got a pasting. And we played them at St Mary's back in May, I think, in a post-season friendly. And yeah, they were better than us that day. So, you know, we gave a good account of ourselves a couple of weeks ago, but didn't get the result. And yeah, went down there last Sunday. A fabulous crowd of, as you say, just under 1,000. And yeah, you know, I think they're a club that have got huge resource, have got huge ambition, and spent all week, I think, really trying to drive a big crowd, and offered out free burgers, free drinks for the first X amount of people, courtesy of Virgin Media, their sponsors. So there was a huge feature on the game from Virgin Media with cameras everywhere, and it was almost like they were filming some sort of series, you know, like an all or nothing type. So yeah, it was there was a lot going on. There was a brass band and plenty of our supporters that had travelled down, which was great. And yeah, we spoilt the party.
Did that give you an extra incentive going into that game, knowing that sort of they were filming, you know, a little bit of extra for the girls?
Do you know what? I think not necessarily an incentive for us, but I did wonder whether that would be too big for them. And the reason why I say that is because we've been fortunate enough to play in big games for us, in front of big crowds. And, you know, obviously up at Man City on the biggest stage to play against them is a huge occasion. And I just felt that we looked comfortable in what might seem big games. And I wasn't sure if they were going to be. So that was something that I was mindful of, because I knew that we turn up on the biggest stage. Our young players seem to just crave, you know, that kind of pressure. And yeah, our job was to see if they could cope with that. And I thought we deserved to win the game.
And you did. Whereas the week before in the cup, sadly, it didn't quite go to plan. But as we were saying off air beforehand, the league, you know, it's a bread and butter, right? That's the priority.
Yeah, it is 100%. And yeah, I think the League Cup game was quite interesting because we had changed our shape a little bit, changed our style just to try and vary a bit up, and they'd also done the same. So that made for an interesting viewing in some ways. And then yeah, they reverted back to what they would normally do for a league game, and we were prepared for that and nullified any threat and managed to score a couple of good goals. And as you say, that was the game that we were desperate to win.
Did you change the shape with one eye on the league game? Did you think they changed their shape with one eye on the league game? Was that a bit of cat and mouse going on from the dugouts there?
I certainly think they did. For us, it's a bit different. We've got a lot of injuries at the moment, and one thing we did try and continue with what we've been doing, and I just didn't think we was playing as good as we could, trying to put square pegs in round holes. And so we almost changed a little bit because of personnel, because we've got a lot of players out at the moment, and it's stretching us a little bit. So yeah, it kind of gives us no choice really. But and also, there's no right or wrong. I think there's to play a consistent shape can give lots of familiarity and continuity with your team. Equally, changing it helps players develop to become quite flexible and also unpredictable with opposition. But I think at our level, there's lots of games we can get away with it because the league at the moment is still quite inconsistent. So whether we could play in one of the top professional divisions and be able to sort of be flexible and change things regularly and still get positive results, I don't know.
Absolutely. Obviously, Sophie Peskip undergoing some surgery. You've had a couple of injuries this year, actually, haven't you?
Yeah, we've had a couple of serious ones. Sophie had surgery today and has come out all good. We've probably got another
Great
5
news.
out at the moment that we're waiting, hoping that we can get back as soon as possible. We've got 5 away this week on international duty, so we're real bare bones at the minute. But yeah, we just get on with it. We just try and find solutions with whatever we've got available. A kind of no excuse policy. We'll just get on with it and try and do as best as we can.
I like that.
You got Blue Wilson as well. She's had her surgery as well. When will she be back, Joe? Will she be back this season? Back end maybe?
No, I think Blue's probably looking at the start of next season as a benchmark, I would say. Sophie probably about the same time, potentially a little bit sooner. I think they've both done the same injury. I think Blues is maybe a little bit more worse. But yeah, they both required surgery. But I would assume that the time frames are fairly similar.
All right. Before we let you go, this weekend, has there been any sort of conversation between you and the club? Because obviously both teams are playing Sunday. Sadly, there's going to be a little bit of a clash, I would have thought. But your girls are at home, 1 p.m. kickoff in the cup, right?
Yeah, we've looked at potential options. We actually tried to get the game rearranged. As I say, we've got 5 away with international duty, and
oh wow,
for there not to be a policy in place for us to rearrange the game due to international call-ups is crazy.
Yeah, mental.
So yeah, we've got to play it, and yeah, we'll just try and do as best as we can, and hopefully, we can get through this week and put out as strong as we can possibly be, and see if we can progress.
So you beat them 1-0, didn't you, in August? I was reading, Joe, their manager's gone this week, hasn't she? Crawley Wasps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would that have any bearing on the game, do you think?
I don't think so. I think the guy who kind of oversees Crawley as a whole is still there. I think he's probably the key decision maker. I think he still does a bit of coaching and a bit of the management. So I actually don't know. I think the lady who's just left. But yeah, they're quite an experienced side at this level. They're capable of playing really, really well. So it'll be a challenging game for sure.
But using your no excuse mantra that you just spoke about a second ago, a good opportunity for another set of ladies to step up, take a claim for a place and a shirt, and put some pressure on those returning internationals. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think sometimes you can have a little bit of an edge when you know that your group's tight, there's a tight knit, and you've got to get on with it. That can sort of also add a bit of spice. So yeah, we'll pick a team and won't have many options, but as I say, we'll certainly believe in the group that we put out to try and progress in the competition.
Well, all the best for Sunday, Joe. Hopefully you'll grab the win and you'll continue the positive momentum that you've got building there.
Yeah, thank you very much. And so we'll work as hard as we can, and just keep trying to play as best as we can, and we'll see where it takes us.
Absolutely, Joe. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you for stopping by.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Look after yourself. Look after yourself, Joe. For those that are interested, they kick off at 1 p.m. at the Gold Star on Sunday. It's going to be tight if you are going to the Crewe game, but the way the men are playing at the moment, I'd bin that off and go and watch the ladies and watch a team that play with our badge. We actually win a game.
Interesting. Change of tactics.
I know. Change tactic. Is that allowed? Says Emerson. Fair weather. Always speaks so well, does Joe. Really, really enjoy having Joe on the show to discuss football. He's a great guy. You never know. One day.
Hopefully, look, like we were just chatting off air before we move on. It was like we were saying, do how many teams go up? And he said, if they win the league, they go into a playoff with the northern section, which that's a little bit harsh, don't you think, Martin? You've played all season, you win your division, and then you've got to go into a playoff, a one-off game to decide who goes up. That is a bit harsh, I think.
I agree. Just send them both up, and have two that come down. Anyway, we've done the positive. We've had the good news. We've got to now roll it over to the negative. And last night, so this is it now, ladies and gentlemen. Ipswich Town, another defeat at home to Rotherham.
Matt Phillips said he's not watching the show tonight. He's watching PSG v City in it. I've had enough of Ipswich bollocks.
Well, he's the only one probably watching City. He strikes me the sort of person who would like to miss a midweek game for a Champions League tie. Do you know what I mean? He's that sort of and have it on the wireless.
Well,
he does strike me that sort of person. Anyway, let's complete the team first of all. Bringing in our third contributor. Now, I think you had it made last night.
Oh, hang on.
What
is he wearing? What is he wearing?
Look at it and enjoy it. I'm not.
It's November the 24th, man.
5-minute ban. It's got to be a 5-minute ban for wearing a Christmas jumper on November the 24th.
Well, I'll let him off because he sent me a birthday present, so I'll let him off. But
I'll let him off because I'm drinking this wonderful beer that you named.
He's named, yeah. But consider yourself. There you go. But consider yourself warned. 24th of November, far too early.
It's not. I'm not gonna listen to it at all. It's Christmas Eve in a month.
Yeah, in a month.
Yeah.
In a month.
Yeah. Happy birthday, mate.
Thank you very much, buddy. I mean, from tomorrow, I don't mind the Christmas talks a little bit because my birthday's come and gone. But at least allow me a birthday before you all stick your fucking trees up and start wearing your Christmas, outfits. But talking of outfits, we had some jokers on the pitch last night. But you had it made, Tom, because you were probably at home, probably warm, watching it from the comfort of your own living room, whereas Cruncher certainly was absolutely freezing. How did you see it last night?
I didn't have a heated vest on like you did. Heated vest, get in the bin.
It's cool thinking ahead, son. All right, up there for thinking, down there for dancing. Tom, how did you see it last night?
Well, I was sad I did, to be honest, but it was awful.
It was really awful.
It's so similar to Sunderland in the way that I was bored in that game, even though we controlled it, and I was bored against Rotherham, even though we were out of control. It's just been absolutely nothing going for us, and I just didn't know what the plan was, to be honest. I suppose it was 4-2-3-1, but nobody seemed to know what they were doing. Nobody could pick up Rotherham, and they absolutely bullied us all over the pitch. So, yeah, I'm sorry you guys had to go down there and freeze your bits off for it.
Yeah, bullied us. That's an interesting one because Crunchy before the game, you were saying, "Oh, they're going to bully us. They're physical. They're that." I actually thought they weren't that physical. They weren't that bully boy. They were just a better football team, and that involves all aspects of football. That involves heading, kicking, tackling, organisation, everything.
Run more than we did.
Yeah, things that we were told by Cook would never happen.
Well, it's interesting. So Matt's been chatting on Twitter. Cowley Cows. Main fallout with the fans he had, this is what they tweeted with us, was wouldn't move away from 4-2-3-1, short, slow possession football, seemed to outplay teams technically, rather outthink tactically. We camp outside their box for 80 minutes, leave ourselves open the whole time, lose 1-0. So last night, we didn't camp outside their box. We didn't get near their box, did we, Martin? What was it, 91 minutes? Was it 91 minutes?
I think I agree with that a little bit, actually. We often get to the 18-yard line and then sort of check it back.
That was like Sunderland. That was like the second half at Sunderland. We had a lot of the ball up there, going back to that game. Second half, we'd have been there all night and wouldn't have scored. But I've said this before, Martin. We've scored a lot of goals this season. We haven't scored for the last 3 league games, but sometimes you sit there watching Town and you think we're never going to score. We have a lot of the ball. We're doing nothing with it.
Stat padding, as I'd like to call it. Anthony Still. Last night's game was prime Paul Shambert, TJ. No fire or fight.
Can't disagree with it, can you? It's like, there's just absolutely nothing about last night at all. And
No.
I was just waiting to hear something this morning. Like, if you were going to have a decision on Cook, it would have happened now. So we've got him for a bit longer. That's not me saying that he should get the sack, but I think Crewe's going to be huge at this stage. And I've been on the other side of the fence, probably with Rich as well and others, where with Team Cook and is probably going to be okay. But there's been nothing in about 2 or 3 weeks that kind of shows us things are going to get better.
It's like I said
Crewe
to TJ
annoys
full
me.
time last night to the fishermen, We've got people, you're pro Cook, you're anti Cook. Yeah, I get that. That's football. At the end of the day, we go to football, we watch football. We all want Town to do well. Nobody wants to sit on here tonight and be negative. We want to, like you've said before, mine, Portsmouth show, the Wickham show. You want shows like that when you're being positive. But tonight, it can't be anything but negative. After watching that, it was a shambles. That was the same as when we played them in 1920 season under Paul Lambert when they come down and beat us 2-0. And you say we've got all these shiny new players. Were they any better last night than they were 2 years ago when we played Rotherham? Completely different set of players, same result. Same performance.
It felt at times like it was an FA Cup third round tie and we were the plucky underdog facing a team that was on the verge of the Premier League or in the Premier League. It had that type of mindset from the stands.
It didn't the atmosphere, because that's another thing that wound me up. You went in that ground last night. The atmosphere was absolutely fucking dire.
Yeah, it
was. It was like a wake. It reminded me of the last game under Paul Hurst when we played Middlesbrough. Now, this is supposed to be a brand new era. We're all positive. Look, the fans so far have been fantastic at home and on the road. But last night, it was as if everybody turned up there, Martin, they thought we were going to lose.
And that shouldn't happen. No, against any industry. And that's not arrogance. That's just the simple fact that Ipswich Town should always be, in this level, certainly with the new budget, a top 6 side. And we should be looking to maybe play Rotherham in the playoff semi-final or final. You shouldn't be that far apart from each other. You're going, oh, Christ, we're playing Rotherham. Rob Smith, how come after 19 games our players do not understand the system? Craig, by the way, at Portsmouth, was there last night. Made the trip from Portsmouth on a Tuesday. Respect that. I really do. Big up, Craig. Nice to speak to you, by the way. Thanks for coming over and saying hello. They were quicker, stronger, and more up for it. Sitting there, we know the game was over after an hour. Mark said the second goal was tragic from a defensive point of view. Ben, with Cook, has everyone finally caught up with me? Well, Callie, Oldham, you're a bit late, lad. This is at least one of your pals, lol. I don't know what that's about. Chris McBean, I think we've been sold the Emperor's new clothes away day beers. Do we think Cook has too many options who play central number 10 where he wants to squeeze into the starting 11 and now it's costing us?
Well, he played 3 number 10s last night.
He did play. Yeah, he did. Yeah,
right?
He did. It is a bit of a top heavy in number 10s, isn't it, TJ, the squad?
Yeah, we've not got enough width. And we're not getting it out wide enough. We're trying to come inside too much, and that's all the players know. And they're just obviously stuck out of position. We've missed Burns a lot recently. Yeah. I think that's the reason you were just touching on about the atmosphere being flat. When we're at home, we've tended to try and start quite quickly and get the fans on side, and it's kind of built some momentum, even if we've conceded. But last night, it was just nothing happened, and there was no reason for anyone to get on side. So I'm just worried about this.
Who's that down to, TJ? Is it down to the players to give the fans something or the fans to give the players something? Because you could say, are you sitting there waiting for the players to make a big tackle, have a shot to get the crowd going?
But we react off that, don't we? It's like as soon as that happens, then it kind of snowballs into you've done that. Now we're going to cheer. Now this is going to build. It's like there's absolutely nothing happened for anyone, even the quiet people.
We've been told, right, the Blue Action and this fan supporters group. Where were they last night? Creating the atmosphere? I know it's not just down to them. But we got to create an atmosphere, Martin. It's too simple for these teams. It's too simple for these teams to come down to Portman Road. It's too nice.
I get that, and it shouldn't be nice because for all the reasons we say about players coming down here, it should be the same for opposing teams. Like it's an arse-ache of a journey, and it should be horrible coming down to play Ipswich because you got all the way down there, then it's all the way back. You're never back anywhere until the early hours of anything. But we know it isn't. It's all lovely and too nice. But what I would say is that fan situation, when the team did occasionally do something, the fans responded. But to be at that position 19 games in, having had the swell of euphoria, the momentum, all of that, that's got to be worrying somebody in an office somewhere, because that's, when you've already got the fan base at 18,000 on a Tuesday night and they're sitting on their hands. Like,
I spoke to someone this morning, ex-player, and he said Mark Ashton last night was absolutely fuming after that game.
Fucking, I should hope so. I should hope so too. He joins me in the Fishermen in the furious ranks, because I'm just thinking, you can read on social media all you like about how Cookie will come good, faith is this, faith is that, faith is that. The ground last night didn't sort of reflect what social media had been telling you leading up to it, because there was too many people nervous.
By 267 fans from Rotherham. There was over 18,000 in that ground, and you wouldn't have known it, mate.
No, because it's in any life of a manager, it starts well, and there's always that those games in the middle of a reign where it's teetering on the verge of collapse, like Borough under Hurst. Is it Hurst? Might have been Hurst when Lambert came in. The Borough game where it felt like you could literally drop a pound coin and the bloke in the furthest part of the churchman's from the cobble would have heard it, because it was that poor of an atmosphere and nervous and tension. It was starting to feel a bit like that last night. And after 19 games, TJ, that's got to be a major concern, isn't it? That we had this lightning in a bottle. We're risking losing it, aren't we?
Yeah, we're just floating along now. We're almost a bit too far out of touch with these teams in the playoffs, with games in hand on us as well. That gap is going to grow. We have to beat Crewe. Like, if we draw or lose against Crewe, then honestly, it's almost right the season off time.
Well, that'd be a new low.
And that's probably
won twice.
Yeah, that's probably the most dramatic I felt about this season. Is like it rests on bloody Crewe Alexandra at home. But it's what it is. If we don't beat them comfortably as well, then I don't know what they're going to do, because if they've got the owners coming over next month, and they're not going to want to be in a stadium full of people who are berating them. Not because of all the good stuff that they've done, but because their lack of decision making on what's going on the pitch. And I feel I think something has to give soon, and it's either these players have got to get a run of more than 3 games together where we're actually winning consistently.
Well, funny to say that, TJ. So the last time we had a 4-game winning streak was under Paul Lambert in September 2019. The last time we had we won 5 games on the bounce. When do you think that was, Martin? Have a guess.
Mick McCarthy, 2017.
No, TJ's go.
Oh, is it further back than that?
Yes.
Shit.
Christ.
Must
be Burley.
I'll go under Joe Royal then at some point. Yeah,
October 2003.
That's ridiculous. But that sums up the club's, steady decline. The Crewe game, I'm going to bring some people in a second. I'm going to see them all waiting now. I see you. I appreciate you. I'm going to bring you in to have your say on your platform in just a second. The Crewe game annoys me, Crunch, because it's your classic League One get well game. You've played the contenders. Yeah. You've been shown up to be a pretender. But don't worry, because Crewe's on the horizon, and you're probably going to, or you should be beating them comprehensively. They've only won twice all year, and then suddenly, things will start to look a bit better. Then you've got the FA Cup week off, so that another week that goes by. Because always in this division, it proved it last year with the 0-0 syndrome. The league is so bad, and it throws up so many teams that you should beat and do beat normally. That you keep yourself there or thereabouts in purgatory.
I was talking to the Fisherman today. I was on the phone for about an hour. I couldn't get away from him. I had earache when I come off. But so you've got Crewe Sunday. This is league games. Crewe. Then you go to Charlton. Then you go to Wigan. Yeah. Then you've got Sunderland. Then you go to Gillingham. Then you've got Wickham. And then you've got Lincoln Newsday. You've got 7 games there. By the time January the 1st comes round, you'll know where we are, where the season's going.
I can tell you that now for free if you like. I could say. 13th, Charlton, who a couple of weeks ago were in disarray, are a point behind us.
Well, I said to Mike exactly this afternoon, 1 point behind Town.
1 minute.
They sacked the manager, Martin. They sacked the manager. Look what Johnny Jackson's doing. He's done really well. Should have won last night.
1 minute, Nigel Jackson's doing a walk through a forest and they're second from bottom. And then the next minute, they're breathing on our neck.
Don't they show you what this league's like? That you can put a run together. But when I put them stats up there, that we haven't won 4 games on the trot for over 2 years.
Lee Bayliss, to be totally player of the park and have only one shot on target is not acceptable. Chris McBain, Cook's team doesn't inspire confidence in the fans anymore. We believe there was the way. Mark Peaky Tuxford, I take you back to the start of the season. Cook said he wanted to play a system with attacking fullbacks, wingers, and forwards. Yet we've come away from that and started playing square pegs in round holes.
I suppose last night with that, he was hampered a little bit in the wide areas because he had Burns out. Obviously, look, Sonny Aluko, we're on here moaning about we've lost the football game. He's lost his father. So that's putting things into perspective a little bit, Martin, Real sad time for him. But then Scott Fraser, we've gone on about Scott Fraser. Is he a left-sided player? No, he's not, but he continues to play him there. So probably on Sunday there'll be another load of changes, musical chairs again, and then we'll have another go. Yeah,
it's the Graham Gunner. I said it before. Cookie no nearer building that team we was in August. Just praises opposition and says we go again, guys. Matt Stanner, don't care about Crewe. It's game after that, and we need to be winning games back to back. Lewis, Crewe game counts for nothing if we don't beat Charlton and Wigan. We now need 9 points from 9 in the next 3 games. You ain't going to Wigan and beating Wigan. Adrak, PC thought we'd won the lottery with the cash he'd spend. Trouble is, he bought players and who can't play the system.
Then they drew with Cambridge last night. You say about Wigan, we won't go. But Cambridge were 2. This is what this league is like, Martin.
I'm
going to Wigan. I'm going to Charlton. I'm not going there. I'm not going there expecting us to lose. I'm not driving all the way up the northwest
before I bring in the first guest.
We're going to lose. I might as well not bother going now then.
Whatever. Wigan, managed by Liam Richardson. Who knows Paul Cook almost as well as Paul Cook knows himself? You'd imagine it'd be Liam Richardson. Do you think Paul Cook's going to spring a tactical surprise on Liam Richardson? Or do you think it'll be the case of same old, same old? Answer it truthfully.
It'll be the same old, but does Cook believe in his system? I said on the radio Saturday, look, he's stubborn. He's a football manager, Martin. All football managers are stubborn.
Not this stubborn. They
are. Listen,
no.
I know. Look, Pep Guardiola plays in a certain way. I know he's got better players.
He's got good players.
Let me finish. Liverpool played the same system week in, week out. Everybody knows how they play.
I disagree. Look at Chelsea.
They played the same every week.
Good players only get you so far. It's the tactical ability on the sideline that gets you the extra array. Otherwise, Chelsea and Frank Lampard will still be together. That Chelsea team was the exact same one. Tuchel took over and immediately made them tactically more aware, more cute, more whatever you want to call them.
But who blooded all them youngsters that Chelsea won the Champions League with?
Frank Lampard. But so tactically, he couldn't put them in a position to succeed.
Maybe.
But we know Pep Guardiola has good players, but tactically he could put players in position. Already gone to Solskjaer, had Paul Pogba and co, but he couldn't put them in the position to succeed. Because you need to have that extra ability about you at the very top level of any division.
But how did Cook get teams out of this league if he didn't have a clue tactically?
By being the underdog, I'd imagine. Chesterfield and Wigan, I don't think or Portsmouth at the time were powerhouses. Ben, you said season was over a couple of weeks, many months ago now. How do you see it?
Well, firstly, happy birthday to you, Gov. I hope you've had a really great day. Probably off the back of a weekend, it could have been a bit better with a better result. I think that the crowd being really kind of negative and quiet, I think because everyone saw the writing on the wall within 10 minutes. I think they are where we want to be in a year's time. You've got a whole bunch of players there who have just played together consistently. Every ball that was sprayed out on the pitch had, when we had the ball, we had to have 5 players around us the whole time, hunting in packs. They were quicker, stronger, fitter, faster.
What did he say today, Ben? What did Cook say about we should look at Rotherham or something? He said like that, didn't he? That's what we should base ourselves on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think is absolutely fucking depressing that we should be building ourselves on Rotherham.
Yeah, but then you look at the way they played last night. They're doing exactly what League One should be doing. It's not pretty. It wasn't beautiful football, but it was efficient. It was quick. The bit of gamesmanship in there. That's everything you need to get out of this league, and there's a reason why they're the top at the moment. And you can tell. I'm quite pissed off because I rushed home from work to get to that game. I was late. I had to rush back out to get back to work on the way out. I had to change a lot of plans to go and see that on a freezing cold night. And I'm just thinking, what a waste of time. And you can tell a lot about how people feel by just kind of walking out of a ground and just kind of putting your ears up and listening. And people were putting it squarely on Cook. And it wasn't so long ago that people were getting banned from the stadium for putting the team sheet out an hour before the club did. Well, Cook is advertising his formation to every single team we're going to play for the rest of the season. If you're going to play us in April, you can start preparing now, because the formation we're going to play in April is exactly the same as the formation we played for the last 19 games. So if you're not going to change that, you're basically, it's like sending a letter to a team saying, this is how we're going to play, over to you. There will be no surprises anywhere. So running towards adversity, yeah, we're absolutely sprinting towards it, and we're going to do it in front of 30,000 people. And that's tragic, because let's say about 30,000 people, that's 10,000 more than would normally go. Let's say of that, 2,000 of those, if they see an incredible game, they're going to buy some more tickets for the rest of the season. Maybe 1,000 of those will buy a season ticket for next season. I don't want to fail in front of a huge audience. And I'm really worried about that. And I think Ashton will be thinking, holy shit, well, I think we should have waited before we done this, because there's nothing worse than failing on the biggest stage of all. 30,000 people for us. We haven't had that. Well, I don't think we've ever had that since I've been watching, even when we're in the Premier League. So I don't really know what the answer is.
Is nailed on. Now, I spoke to Colin before the game.
That's true.
He said about we've got better players than Rotherham. And I said to him,
no,
we might have better players. We are not a better team.
That is exactly perfectly.
This is where we can go round about Cook in, Cook out. But Paul Warren's had this team together for 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
He keeps adding to it. And that's what we're just at the start of this.
So here's the bigger question. What's the answer? Because there's 2 answers. Number 1, we sack him off. That's the obvious number 1. Number 2, we go through the rest of the season. Do we give him a 3rd squad? Because the other 2 haven't worked. He can't get anything out of the 2 squad he's actually had. He's had an embarrassment of riches to assemble the squad he's had. Every manager in the league is thinking they'd love to be in our shoes. But I think it's funny. It's not really a criticism of him, funnily enough. I just think it's like giving a 16-year-old a really fast car. Okay, you'll go fast. You don't know how to drive it. No. There's a reason you don't give kids fast cars, because they don't know how to handle it. He's been given so much money and so much freedom. I think it's too much for him. And I don't even think that's his fault. He's like, holy Christ, I'm actually going to have to assemble something that's going to have to do something really well consistently here. And I think the job's too much for him. And I think you're right, Crunch. I think you said the next 7 games, you'll know where we are. Fuck that. We knew where we were 10 games ago. You knew it. Everyone knew it.
Some thought it.
We beat Wickham away then 4-1. And
hey?
I was at Wickham that night. They hadn't lost at home. They'd won 8 games on the trot. We absolutely took them to the
cleaners. There's always and that was a wonderful night. I love that. That was incredible. It was incredible. But there's always a team that every team is capable of doing that in their league at some point in the season. I'd rather not win 4-1 at Wigan and win 3 other games 1-0, because then we wouldn't be 15th. Whereas I think we've lost, what are we lost? So is it 10 games in 30? We've won now 35, and we've now lost more than we've won this season.
Yeah,
managers get sacked for a hell of a lot less than that. You've just seen it in
TJ 10 league games in 38. Then
10 league games in 38. So the question is not really, do you think he should go or not? Because all managers go. So the question is, how long do you give him, based on what you see? Because managers are never in charge of a team for 10 years unless it's Alex Ferguson. So he will go eventually. How long? That's the question.
This is a conversation that has been sort of rumbling on in some quarters for a small while now, and I've always advocated for the Watford approach, where something is something, then why do you wait 7 games? Like all you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot for 7 games.
You're kicking the can. You're kicking the can down the road. Yeah, and I've got one more point before I leave, because we're losing 2-0 at home. There's still time in the game for some otherworldly, miraculous recovery, and he changes his left back.
Exactly what me and the fisherman said today, Ben. He brings on Matt Penny. What is he going to do?
Yeah. What is Matt? To be fair, actually, I think he actually looked quite good when he came on. But you don't bring on a left back when you're chasing a game 2-0.
Don't tell Colin that. Jeez. You'd have thought he'd gone home last night and found Matt Penny in his kitchen eating his ham sandwiches. Good grief. He was on Matt Penny. But it's funny you say that, Ben, because that's not the first time he has done a left back for a left back in a game. Now, last season, we all said, well, the options are limited. We can forgive him. Well, that's not the case this season. So for me, again, that's showing me, well, you've done that before. I'm seeing that again.
Yeah.
I said to you, in the pre-game show, why has he got 3 defenders? We're playing at home. He got a centre-back who can play left-back anyway in Burgess, and then he's got Vincent Young and Penny.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't understand that.
I'll tell you what, the hell will freeze over before we see any other formation than that. And if you are, if you're, God, his name's gone from me. Striker's name, Piggott. If you're Piggott, you've got to be thinking, what the hell am I doing here? Because unless he drops Bon, Bon hasn't scored in a while, but I don't actually blame him for that. As you said last time, Gov, he's got credit in the bank, but the service to him was appalling. There's this gigantic 30-metre hole in the middle of the midfield that is just eaten up by the opposition. And I'm kind of thinking, Bon, you're thinking, QPR's maybe not so looking far away now. I don't know. He's maybe not looking so bleak.
He loves it here, and he's treated.
I agree, and I hope he stays. But God, we've got to sell it to him as well. We've got to sell us and the vision to him. With Cook, he got given the keys to the kingdom, and he's dropped the keys down the river.
Have you been to a place called Chantry Top Shops? Because if you have, you know that he's already bought. Look, Chantry Top Shops are the best shops in the world. They're on the Chantry estate. There you go. That's all you need in life. Chantry Top Shops.
All I need. This is. Do you know what? I'm wearing this because it's the warmest. Firstly, because I'm on this and I, representing. This is the warmest thing I own, and I'm freezing. So, thank you very much, Talking Town.
We love you, Ben. Look after yourself. TJ, no, TJ, no, TJ, no. Ben made some great points there. Appreciate him coming on. First of all, TJ, Piggott. Tell me, let's go through what he may be thinking right now, because as Ben says, you're not going to get a formation change anytime soon, and Bond's got credit in the bank, so...
Yeah, he's coming to the club thinking, I'm going to start in this formation. Bond's had a really good run, and now he's dried up a bit. He has still got that credit in the bank, but something needs to change. And if he's going to stick to this formation, we have to see what he can do. But the problem that we touched on there is we're playing number 10s out wide, and they're not wingers. They're not going to get in behind defenders and get the balls in the service in. So it goes down to probably recruitment. Are the wide areas strong enough? We've invested too heavily in the centre. We've got players who don't know whether they can play in the 2 behind the 3 or in the pocket. So we're putting players in the wrong place. And that side of it's really wrong for us up top at the minute. And Bon is isolated as anything, but I still think Piggott needs a chance to show what he can do. See if he can bully anyone. Yeah, it's not working at all for me.
No, I agree. And I was going to say to you, I said something at one of the shows before the sort of season kicked off, in that sometimes in football, there's a manager that puts it together but doesn't reap the rewards. Could that be Cook here? Could he be the manager that oversaw the start of the project, brought the players in, was instrumental in some of the recruitment, Morsey being one of them, but doesn't see the benefit of it, doesn't see the rewards, doesn't reap those, because, something's got to give, and results have got to be right. And at the moment, they're not. But the tools are there to certainly be a top 6 size, aren't they?
The tools are there, but I just don't know who. When Cook looks behind him in a game or even in training, what's being said to him from his support staff? What are they saying to him? What experience have they got to say, you might want to think about this? Or someone strong enough to probably say, we need to tweak the formation slightly just to make it work for now. But it's so rigid. It's almost like he's got one track vision. This is the Paul Cook way. I've got no one else apart from my coaches who they're not experienced as me. I know what I'm doing. It's all me. So I think he's stuck in those ways, unfortunately. I like the guy as a bloke. I think he's a sound guy, but I just think Cook. Yeah, I like.
I
Cook.
agree. I agree.
I just think it's not marrying up together at the minute, and I think it's unfortunate.
Mention the backroom staff there, TJ. Have you seen any impact yet of the Peter Reid consultancy?
No, it's about as good as that fitness coach we had up in Scotland a few years ago. Remember that? That was great.
Yeah. Via
Zoom call fitness.
Yeah. Crunch. Have you seen any benefit? Not benefit. That's the wrong word. Any changes as a result yet of the?
Well, we all sat there last night and see that first half, didn't we? And then he comes out after half time and the same 11 stroll out there, and you think Peter Reid's watching that. Obviously, he's up in the director's box, gets a different view of the game. Surely he's going to tell Cook at half time it's not working. Make some changes, but we leave it till we go 2-0 down. He brings on a left back, which is baffling for me. He's got a striker on the bench who scored 22 goals, and he waits till 72 minutes, and the game's gone. Then Martin is petering out. Piggott can't get in the game, and it just goes to a 2-0.
Mark Tuxford on my birthday has just said, has anyone got Aaron Jordan's number? I do have a block button, and I will use it, Mark. All right? None of that, particularly on my birthday, please.
Actually, Joe Piggott's birthday as well today.
Is it? See,
yes.
Today's a great day. Mere mortals never understand that gods are born on this day. I'll tell you something for nothing though. Second half, TJ, I'm expecting a response, and the better team in the first 10 minutes was Rotherham in that second half. Again, I feel we're leaving the dressing room flat.
I'd say I don't know what rallying cry we're getting from Cook as they come out back on the pitch, and we didn't get it before they went on the pitch. And I don't understand what the messaging is. It's nice we're having the huddles at the start of the game, but what's coming from it at the minute? Like, where's that extra leniency on the pitch? Because it can't come down just to Morsey. He can't be shouldering the whole team.
Where is the captain in all of
this?
I've
got a grumble about that. Right, that huddle. I've got a little grumble about that, and you're probably going to be surprised what the grumble is. Can you think what the grumble might be?
Well, I see the cameraman in there taking a
picture.
Yes,
I fucking hate that. I'm like, that's my team preparing to go to war, getting the last instructions. Get those cameras out of that huddle. That's their time, their moment to focus in. Now, it might not be a distraction, but for me on the sidelines, I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Did you like it, Crunch?
No. I knew you wouldn't like that. That should be private. You know, you rallying your troops. Roy Keane. Could you see Roy Keane letting a fucking cameraman in there? Not a chance.
No,
nonsense.
Absolutely not a chance.
No way.
But I just saw it, and I thought, all the best intentions in the world, great idea on paper, sort of thing you think of in the office, and you go, oh, it's a great idea. That would look really good. Great interactions. But I just think let the lads have that moment.
Yeah, it works well when you're winning. When you're not, you look like a right tit.
Well said, TJ. Simon Harris, Obvious Cook doesn't rate Piggott. Mr. Ipswich Town, no characters. Mark Tuckford is the grumble that Luke Chambers, isn't it? No, it's not. Lloyd, thanks for your help last night, Lloyd. I really appreciate that. Morrissey doesn't seem to be putting people over and having a word with them. Mike D, you shouldn't need a huddle. All the talk should have been done in the dressing room. It's bullshit. I don't know. See, I view it. I'll bring in Stephen in a minute. Bring it back. I'm sure bring a bit of balance to the show because Stephen's a very positive guy. I just think
you might be surprised.
I don't know. I don't think it will be. I just think in the dressing room, Crunch, the gaffer's done all the talking. The coaching staff, they're the ones doing the talking. They're on those last moments on the pitch is really a captain, bringing his troops to heel, for a better word, and just saying, look, let's leave it all on here. You know what you've been told. You know what you've got to do. Leave it all on this pitch tonight. No surrender. No and whatever language.
Can you put Rich P's comment up about the Cook hours?
Yeah.
When you're live, Rich, it's you Mark's asking for opinions. This show's all about opinions, so you are allowed to change your mind. When you've got a live mic, it's all right for people to say, "You said this, you said that." Why don't you come on the show instead of criticising me in the chat? There's a
Easy,
live
fella.
link. Oh, there's a live link.
Easy,
There's a live link
fella.
there for him to come on if he wants to say that.
There's also
It's
a live
easy
chat that he
to
can say
hide.
as well.
Listen, it's easy to hide behind your keyboard, tapping away.
Hey,
Tapping away. I want to talk about Morsey. I want to talk about
before
Morsey.
you do, just embrace the opinion crunch. And look, when you have an opinion, all right, double fucking down on it, all right? Double down on it and make it your own.
I am still Paul Cook. I'm in the Paul Cook camp. But if he loses on Sunday to bottom of the league Crewe, he's got no hiding place, Martin. I want to touch on the captain. I spoke to the fisherman earlier.
No Luke Chambers.
I spoke to the fisherman earlier. I'll tell you who he's not.
I love Morsey.
I said to the fisherman, are you sitting comfortably on your sofa? Right? Sam Morsey, what is he, Martin? Is he a holding midfielder? I don't know what he is. I'll tell you what he isn't. You won't like what I'm going to say here. Sam Morsey is no Cole Scouse.
Oh, shut your face.
No, he's not.
Oh, why?
He's not. Cole Scouse done that job. Listen. Cole Scouse done that job sitting in front of the back four, protecting them. What is Morsey? Because I don't see him doing that. Where was he on the first goal last night? Where was he? Where's that guy?
I have questioned that.
Where's that guy sitting in front of the back four, protecting the defence? Because Lee Evans doesn't fucking do it because he's another one. Not good enough. He ain't good enough.
Well, no. I tell you what, I have questioned Morsey myself, but he is much better than Cole Scouse. Although Mark does say he likes Morsey, but he's not a Scouse. Crunch is right. Bang on the money, says the fisherman. I just think you'll see a different Morsey. Now the band.
Cook said we wouldn't have none of these performances when Morsey's coming in.
Well, no, but I think he's been walking a tightrope for a couple of weeks, and so I don't think it's any mystery that his worst couple of performances have come in the last couple of weeks, where he's been on that one more yellow, he's suspended. Now he's going to sit it out against Crewe.
No, he's not. It wasn't his yellow. It was Edmondson.
Oh, for crying out loud, Stephen, you're nearly done.
There you go.
I am.
You're nearly done. What do you mean you're nearly done? It's you.
It's like Crunch just said. At the end of the day, I've said on numerous occasions, I come on these pods, I give my opinion, and I'm prepared to let other people change my opinion. I'm close. I said last night on Twitter, I'm close to Mike's opinion now than what I was before. The point is, all we got was we aspire to be Rotherham. I don't aspire to be fucking anyone. 10 years ago, we didn't even aspire to be Brentford or Bournemouth. Who's next? What, Wrexham? Solihull Moors? Come on. We don't aspire to be anyone. We just want to be better.
£10 Lewis Robertson, £5 Ipswich Town, and £5 Neil Perks. Thank you very much.
I went to that game. I watched that game last night, and I thought we could win this. I compared it with the Wickham game.
Did
I thought, look, if we can beat Wickham 4-1 at their ground, we can do these at ours. If we put the effort in, if we perform. The team comes out. First off, I was concerned, and I put it on Twitter. I said, look, we've got 3 number 10s. Have they got the discipline to stay out wide? Obviously they didn't, because they all thought they were a number 10 again. So, I get that we had issues at right wing. Then play a system that doesn't have right wingers. This is the whole point. I wouldn't have bothered if we'd have lost, if we'd have switched to something like 3-5-2 with a flying fullback, which at the end of the day was the only place you could have got some space last night, was on the wings. Going down the centre, which we were doing, there was absolutely no bloody hope of getting any ball through there at all. Even McMills said it. He said, down the flanks is the only way. And we had 2 people, and this is not a dig at Darcy because it's not his game, who wouldn't run with the ball at all. I don't think either of them went past the halfway line. When you've got so much space, it's like he got to the halfway line, passed it to Selena. And then
bad for the cruncher. Look at that. Look.
Happy birthday, Gov.
Just so you can get a word in. Hey, Steve.
No, I'm sorry. I've been pent up for 20. I've been pent up for 24 hours. And it's like, I'm sorry. It comes a point where he's on a thin edge. If we don't win these next 2 games, I'm talking about. Well, Crewe. If we don't get a win against Crewe, he's got to go. That's it.
Stephen Parry, flipping hell, TJ. When you hear someone like Stephen say those words there, what do you think? Because he's been Mr. Positive the whole time I've known him.
No, I've been in Stephen's camp for most of this as well, and I've had the same opinion. So,
Statman in the house.
Thank you very much, Statman. The link is available. Step forward, have your say. I know you're not sure of your opinion. We welcome you on the show. But TJ,
it's the fact that we are allowed to change our opinion on this. We could see the project, we could see everything that was going on, but now it's got so far into the season, we're not far off halfway when we get to Christmas. And then if we're just sat there doing absolutely nothing, do we give Cook a transfer window and a chance to get his players in? And then why would we do that? What effect is that going to have for the rest of the season? And effectively, we'll just peter out the rest of the season if we're not in touch and distance of the playoffs. So do we put someone in now, which I kind of alluded to, like, do you kind of get rid when you've got a Sunday game and 2 cup games the following week? So that gives the manager the chance to then attack the league afterwards. So
why not?
I don't know what the right answer is. In all honesty.
Peter Reid in charge for a game or 2?
No, God no. But also, Peter Reid, what's he done in X amount of years? It's like
it's not a long-term appointment. I'm just talking about. You're saying, what do you sack him with a Sunday? I'm saying I'm playing devil's advocate in my role of the host and saying, why if you feel like he's not right for the job, why would you wait?
No, that's it. It's like they clearly think that he must be okay at the minute to not do anything, because you would do it immediately to have that time to prepare. But also the question I would like to put to everyone I popped in the chat is who do you get in? Like what is the best option at the minute? Do you go for someone out of work?
I've already said it.
Do you pick someone?
No, I've just said at the end of the day, for me, there's 2 targets. There's the manager we played last night and Ryan Lowe. We can get both of those. I don't give a shit. People can turn around and say, well, they're going to go up. So they're going to go up and going to come straight back down again. If they come here, they've got the base to spend money with a good fan base, with a good club, and do a project like we do with Paul Cook. But this is somebody, especially Paul Warren, it's somebody who's done it 7 times in the last 9. Yeah. Either going up or coming down.
I tell you who is available. Still hasn't got a job. Done it throughout the league.
Not Warnock.
No, Alan Kirbishley.
Bollocks.
Oh. He lives in Woodbridge, doesn't he?
I mean, he's been
I'd rather have
the last 8 jobs. So, like,
seriously, I'd rather have
Hang on, Stephen.
Yeah.
Paul Lambert managed Norwich. Paul Warren is a Norwich fan. So I think that'd go down like a fucking lead balloon, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's not a matter of whether it goes down like a lead balloon, is it? If he wins, it doesn't matter. The point is, I had that. Matt said that to me. He said, well, he's a Norwich fan. I said, well, Paul Cook's a Liverpool fan. He's not going to get a Liverpool job. Norwich fan.
It's different. We wouldn't want a Norwich fan.
All right.
No, it's just been up and they didn't even look at him. So he's not going to get the job, is he?
No, I just want to say that we've got some great comments coming in. We got Tim Molden last night was the first game. Question is, could the right man for the job step backwards? That was a team full of confidence and ideas, no culture, identity, or wall running accountability. It's also Gav's birthday today. Happy birthday, Gav. I'm doing that joke. Me, of all people.
I know I'm going to be going in a bit. Yeah. I just didn't want to be, saying that I think it's time that we think about Paul Cook. Someone's just put in Wilder. Wilder's not even an option. He's gone anyway. He's already got a job. The top and bottom of it is I didn't want to get to this position without having an option.
You get Diaz as a Chilean passport.
But for me,
that's got a ring to it.
Big Diaz.
That's the fisherman ones. I was talking to him earlier, Stephen. He wants Gareth Ainsworth.
I don't like Gareth Ainsworth. I'm sorry, I don't. I think he's a one-trick pony, and I think
that's what I said to him. He's been at Wycombe so long. And that's sort of his club, isn't it? And it's in his mould. When he goes somewhere else, I think that it's no. I like Ainsworth as a person, but not as.
I'd like a progressive manager. I know there's a lot of calls for Mogger. He's not going to leave Blackburn, but it's finding the right face. I don't think we have to look unemployed. No, it is. People are saying all these names that.
Aerosmith.
Oh, I love
Led Zeppelin. But I think we've got to find the right fit. The right fit.
I'd go Ryan Lowe, Stephen. That is who I said before.
I'd be around Ryan Lowe. I said Ryan Law, Paul Warne. Now, if people are...
Who would you go for, mine? Right, if you could pick a manager.
This is mad. Like, when you're talking to me about a manager and who you'd go, like, we've been speaking for so long about the pros and the cons of the management.
I know where you go.
I'm just mad that it's 24th of November and we're sat here talking about a manager's position at the football club.
That's prevaricating, isn't it? At the end of the day, I wouldn't come to a position without having a name. It's very easy just to say cook out. But if you're not suggesting no one, then you better not say nothing.
I don't know if I want Cookout. After saying it thinking it for so, I don't know if I do, because I'm looking at upgrades that realistically would view Ipswich Town in the 2021-22 season as a a proper job to come to.
You've always said you'd go head coach role, wouldn't you?
But he's still in the job, so it's almost like we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, and I would go head coach. You're absolutely right, but just like we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, we need to sort of step back, rein it in.
Because you didn't want to answer the question, because at the end of the day, in every discussion you have to go ahead of yourself, otherwise you're always reactive. We're trying to be proactive.
Well, that's what we are doing. We're reacting to last night's game, which is fair, because you're down saying who you'd want as manager.
Last night's game. It's because I've thoughtfully considered this since last night.
£8.99, John Warren. Thank you very, very much.
That's a good comment there from Craig from Portsmouth. Are we prepared to wait until next season? What is progress, Martin, this season? Because at the minute, with the form that we're going on, we're going to be around 10th place.
Well, this is
I can tell you what will happen.
I think to follow that up as well, Crunch, is what progress wasn't communicated clearly, maybe. Like the expectation wasn't there that this is a job, guys, we and gals, we're going to need to hold back a bit. This could take a year or two, but
we
I
weren't
think
told that.
everything
when people are coming out and saying, God have mercy on League One, run into adversity, all these sayings, that ramps up the pressure on the manager.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just that. We've got another issue to tend with, and this is the biggest issue. Yeah, we can sit here and say, I tell you what, let's keep cooking till the end of the season. Yeah, and everything ticks along, and we end up 11th. Yeah, then somebody comes in for George Edmondson. Bond doesn't want to stay. Selena goes back. We're having another rebuild. So we're starting right from the beginning again.
But a smaller rebuild.
Yeah, but we've just lost our best players.
Yeah.
All right. It's quite feasible we could lose Edmondson, Selena, Bond, Walton. Probably Morsey might even go. It's quite feasible we could lose all of them. And what do? We've got the same manager who failed and no team. So we start again from the beginning.
You've changed, Stephen. You've changed.
You have.
I've smelled the coffee. I'm sorry. I can only look. Since Wickham, there's been a huge drop-off. I want to know what... It's not been answered. Paul Cook hasn't answered it. The players haven't answered it. Mark Ashton hasn't come out and answered it. Why have we dropped off? We need to know why such a big drop-off from Wickham, because we've done nothing since Wickham except a couple of lucky cup wins. That's it. You can all We were good at Sunderland. We were good at Oxford. We got a point. But looking good, it's like I said, you can have a Ferrari. If you've got no keys, it's useless. Yeah, you can look good and you'll still only get a point. That ain't good enough. I'd rather look scruffy and get 3.
All right, Steve, a pleasure as always.
Oh, man.
Look after yourself. I'm quite, this is like the situation with Lambert all over again, the sense of everyone's going one way all of a sudden. I've got to try and put my host hat on and try and go the other way. You say about the ownership or the message there, TJ, even if it was to take a year, and Rich is saying, what's the expectation? You still have to have levels of, accountability, responsibility, culture. Was last night, taking it back to last night, did that fit any of the things that Ashton has been saying about how, standards, responsibility, accountability, culture? Because last night, for me, was really poor and not what I want my football team and my club to be about.
That's it. It goes exactly against running towards adversity. It's running towards mediocrity quite recently as well. And it's just not marrying up on the pitch what we've been told at the start of the season. So maybe if there was a tempering of expectations and they say this needed to be a bit of a project, we might have maybe taken this easier than we are now. But it's absolutely understandable to see why we're all so pissed off at it, because it's dire. It's not good. We've played well in games and we've pumped a couple of teams, 4-1, 4-0, but that's about it, really. We're still bottom half of the league. We're no better off than we were last season. I don't see what the progress is. But then the problem is, if you bring a new manager in, you have to give them the time to take the season out and then probably go again. So do you get a short-term fix, see the season out, rebuild again, or do you get someone in and accept that you have to take it into next season? It's tricky. I don't know what the right answer is, to be honest, but how it's going at the minute.
It's a bit of a project, and you're right. And obviously 19 new players does suggest it's a bit of a project, TJ, but I still sort of come back to a bit of a project. But do you want to see your football team as far and away from Rotherham as they were? And that's just not to criticise Rotherham. This could be any team inside that top six. Even Oxford, we didn't really lay a glove on. It's a project, yes, but is it a top six project where year one has to be top six? Like, there has to be progression, doesn't there? So was last night progression?
No,
from even the year before?
No, clearly wasn't. It's terrible, and we're worse off than we are this time last season. Because Lambert had us flying for the start of the seasons. He just couldn't finish it off, and it's the complete opposite. And I can't see us making up this gap, let alone sustaining it for a longer period to get into the playoffs. So something's clearly wrong. And I don't know if it's Cook needs more support in his backroom staff, but he's got reading. I don't know what good that's doing, or he needs to be flexible. Again, that's not going to happen. So I think the frustration we've got is we've got a manager who's so inflexible in his ways that we can't see what he's going to do to change it. We can just see the same thing. We can see every other manager thinking the same as us, which is he's going to play 4-2-3-1. They know exactly what they're going to come up against, and it's boring for us, and it's probably great for them. It's terrible.
Mark Tuxford, #positivity crunch. Hume, Paul Cook is literally on paper one of the best managers in the league. And then Oscar says football isn't played on paper. Blue Boy, doesn't matter what manager we bring in, they can't seem to change the culture, which is weak, soft, and predictable. Matt Stunner would settle for us chasing a second ball or sprinting harder and faster than the opposition right now. Safety guy, it feels now like it did when we struggled out at the start of the season. Josh, our fans are frustratingly accepting, needs to be more ruthless to actually do what's best for the club. Mark Dowling, I sort of knew it would take a while after we celebrated like we won the league after we equalised against bloody Morecambe first game. Lee Brown, I'm feeling it's going to be a chore going to games at the moment, where at the start of the season was excitement, sadly. Chris McBain, Cook's going to be here next year as our own, and Ashton aren't the sort of people who wants to be proved wrong with their manager.
Is he their manager pick, though? He's not Mark Ashton's manager. He wasn't his pick because he wasn't at the club.
Possibly so. Neil, what do you make of it all before we move on to Crewe?
Where'd you start with that? And it was just absolutely dire. I watched it last night, and it was just appalling. They were just everything that we weren't they? There was just no passion. Bonds just really isolated. No width. You could just go on. I could have had my pad last night, and I probably would have ripped 3 or 4 pages down about that. It was just dreadful to watch.
It was disappointing to see us so far away from another promotional rival, and I say that knowing it sounds silly now, sitting in 13th. But in Rotherham, we looked the team that had just been promoted, and we're hoping to get a point, didn't we?
Yeah, I think when you look at it and you're looking at the spine of the team, I think it's probably a slightly off the subject slightly, but I think you could do like you said before, Gov, like another player in the Edmondson row alongside him. You could say that probably a different player to play alongside Morsey. Maybe all the players that are there, maybe none of those are really good enough, and a partner for Bon as well. But we know that's probably not going to happen, is it? But that's what I'd be looking at, I think, possibly, especially in January. Certainly another centre-back like Edmondson mode, someone else maybe to partner Morsey.
He's got Burgess, Neil. Why did he sign Burgess then if he needs another centre-back?
Yeah, I get that, French, and I like Burgess. I thought he was a decent player, but even he can't seem to get in the team now either, can he?
when I spoke to Mike earlier, Neil, Mike, the fisherman, I said, if you're building a promotion team, look, as Mike would say, with respect, building a promotion team, you shouldn't have people like Bailey Clements in your team. And for all the good he's done, Toto, not good enough. They're not good enough if you're building a team to get out of this division.
Disagree.
What do you disagree with?
I mean, for me last night, I would have either at left back. I would have either probably my first choice. Probably it would have been Burgess or KVY last night at left back. It wouldn't have been Penny, anyone like that. It would have been one of those two.
Yeah. I mean, Clements, I can get with. It sort of come from nowhere. That said, I don't think he's the reason why we lost at all. You know,
no.
I don't hang that on him. Did Crunch beat the fisherman earlier? I wish he would. Yeah, I so do I, Tuck. I'm getting that as well.
I did have an hour or more on the phone with him. And we struggled to get off the phone when Mike Brown's on the phone.
And I also think Toto didn't do anything wrong yesterday, and he's not done anything wrong this season. To be fair to Toto,
gets wrong side of the ball for me too many times.
I actually think if you looked at the team, you know, Walton, Toto, Edmondson, Morsey, and Bon, I think, you know, that's 5 good players, TJ, that you should, in theory, be able to build something around to certainly perform better than what it has done against Sunderland and Rotherham.
It should be. I'd still play Burgess over Toto personally, only because the feeling I get when I see Toto wrong side is there could be a penalty, but that's only based on what we've seen in previous seasons. He has been better this season in comparison, but yeah, there's not enough out wide. And to say that JD's been our best wide player, maybe
second best with Burns.
With Burns when he's fit.
You didn't rate Burns, Martin.
Well, who would have thought when we at the 19 new players that Wes Burns, TJ, would be the one that when he doesn't play, we might as well give up and go home.
I remember when we played Fleetwood back in the last season, he looked all right, to be fair. He scored that good goal, didn't he? So it was kind of like, yeah, take a punt. He could be all right. And he's been excellent when he's fit.
He's been the best
player
we've ever
signed.
signed.
The right side's been good for us. It's the left side that's crippling us in a way. It's too chop and change. It's not enough going forward there. And there's just, it's good we got Morsey in the middle, but it's still not strong enough. It's not protecting the back four enough for me.
What I'm wondering, TJ, is with Matt Penny, when he brought Matt Penny on, I'm thinking he brought Matt Penny on for a delivery for what he can do going forward. Why doesn't he just try playing Matt Penny in front of Bailey Clements as a left winger?
Yeah, I thought he would for this game, to be honest, but I don't get it, and I don't want to see us having to use a left back substitution as one of our 3 subs in these games. It shouldn't be what we're doing. We've got an embarrassment of riches up front, and we're using one of them on a defender, and I don't get it at all. Unless there's an injury, fine, but it doesn't make sense to me, which means he's probably not planned well enough. And I thought Bailey did okay up until a point where he was starting to get rinsed in the second half, which is why he got took off. But even Penny, he struggled in that game as well. But at least he would have given us a bit more going forwards.
Rich, when you're getting such little production out of position as you are with the left side of that attacking 3, what would you lose by saying, let's say Crewe on the weekend, Matt Penny plays at left wing because he's not the best defender, but he can put a decent ball in the box when he wants to, and we're getting nothing from anybody else that's played there. What would you lose, really?
Yeah, but we moan about square pegs in round holes, Martin. That's exactly what that would be.
Or it's out of the box thinking if it works.
Not a left winger. He's a left back. He's a left wing back. We can't be playing.
He's a wing back. To play a 3.
Scott Fraser out there. You know.
Yeah.
We've got Kyle Edwards. We got Kyle Edwards, who I thought had a decent game at Sunderland on Saturday, and we can say that he hasn't had no assists. He laid one at Sunderland on a plate for Selena, which he should have buried. You know, that's not his fault. He's done the pass. So I think you've got to keep playing him at the minute. We can't keep chopping and changing. This is when a manager's under pressure, Martin, because we're 19 games into the season and we still don't know our best 11.
Yeah.
I would say about Edwards, though, is we need to judge him on his assists, and there are none to judge so far. Whereas Burns is delivering on that front. Aluko is probably delivering on that and goals. And we haven't got the left side nailed on at all. We're not getting anything from that side really. So he needs to start delivering the goods. I thought
three left backs, TJ. You played Clements, you played Penny. Coulson's not fit. Like your left-sided player. How many times have we been changing that this season? Like you say, you keep changing it because you don't know. I know you get injuries, and which is fair enough, but we've not had that nailed down, and we're still searching for that side to work, aren't we? Like the right-hand side has, like you said.
Yeah, I get it. What I would say is a positive point about the end of the Rotherham game is I thought Edwards looked busy. I thought Selina came into it more towards the end of the game, despite the rest of it being dross. Only towards the end Selina came into it. But Edwards did stuff in the second half, despite it not being a lot. But I agree. There needs to be some consistency on the left side. Like the right side, when we had JD and Burns, it looked good for a good run of games, even though we didn't win all of them. But it was consistent and there were patterns going on and partnerships. But we haven't got there yet, have we?
Neil, who would you play left side for Sunday?
What, left back?
Yep. No, left midfield.
Left midfield. I think, well, I mean, obviously, he's been playing quite well recently. He's obviously lost his dad. I mean, I would have even punted for someone like a Luco on the left, to be honest with you.
Okay. So you'd have moved Luco from the right to the left?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think... I said before, unless Selina... I think the only position for him, really, and I don't think he's been good enough recently, is on the left wing. I don't think there's any other position for him. I just think it's the left wing, and he's just not been anywhere near good enough, is he? Just coasting through games, he is.
Bang on.
Just coasting.
Bang on.
It's got to be a Luca or Edwards, isn't it? Probably. I mean, hopefully we can, Burns is nailed on the right, but it's like TJ says, it's the left's the problem, isn't it? It's the left side. Yeah. Obviously, when Coulson's back fit, he's nailed on to be left back, isn't he? But the player in front of him, yeah, so it seems up for grabs still, isn't it?
It does.
It says a lot about our options that we're waiting on Coulson, who can't stay fit, to come back in. And what does that say about the players who are behind him? It's like, we're going to come back in, but we're not going to keep our place because this bloke's going to play for 2 games and then be injured again. And I like Coulson, by the way. I think he's a good player. He's unfortunate this season in that sense. He is.
Neil, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to have to move on. I've got a couple of people waiting.
Sorry,
Thank you,
guys.
Buddy. Look after yourself. Thanks so much for your super chat. Crunch, before the game, I said about Evans and Mawson. You said to me, they're nailed on. Tuxford. Lee Evans was the worst player on the pitch by a country mile last night.
Yeah, I agree. But
why are they nailed on?
Well, because Paul Cook's had them at Wigan. They played over 80 games together. But for Sunday, you'll put my team up probably soon.
Yeah. I've lost you. I've lost you.
Off the back a little bit about that hat-trick that he scored against Doncaster, you know? I don't know what Lee Evans' team...
Crunch, you're playing like our midfield, mate. You're coming in and out. You're not really, Am I back? Picking up the slack. You're back. I'm going to... Another 10 minutes of the show.
Bring to the team? What does Lee Evans bring to the team? What is Lee Evans? It's like John Nolan. What is a Lee Evans?
What? Yeah. Oh, remember him, John Nolan. Well, that's a good question. I'd love to know what the chat says. Graham Gunner, I'd opportunity Sunday to play 3-5-2. Sounds great, Graham. Not disagreeing with you, but it's Paul Cook. Sadly, I think you got more chance of me managing the team Sunday. Mike, the fisherman, you were at the game yesterday. You're going to be at the game Sunday. You've got 5 minutes, then I'm going to bring in the goat for fun.
You're not giving Colin 5 minutes. Hang on.
Trust me.
Martin's promise will be out the window if Goat gets on here. You know that.
That button's being pressed at 10 o'clock. Right? Regardless.
My biggest issue, and I was telling you, was where the hell are our holding midfielders? Where is the protection for our defence? Where is it? Morsey was right up. Rosie was right up the right-hand side behind the corner flag because I sat by the tunnel with my brother in row FF, whatever. And he was right on that right. I'm thinking, well, who's protecting our back? Who's protecting our back line if we get hit on the counter? And that's what happened for that first goal. We had no protection. I took a photograph. I depressed Richard earlier by the photograph I sent him. We had a free kick in their half in the first half, yeah? Right? Dead ball situation. and there was not one attacking player anywhere near that box, apart from Bond, which was out right over on the other side. And I think to myself, what the hell is going on with this team? You know, we had a warning earlier on in the game where Walton pulled off a good save, and then what's name went through. He had the freedom of the midfield, because I think Evans and Morsey would probably set their deck chairs up while they were watching.
Mark Tuxford, the protection for our defence is currently protecting the defence for Colchester United, just in front of our best player ever in Luke Chambers.
Hell. A great cat. Oh my days!
He's on about Scouse. He's on about Scouse. He's on about Scouse.
He's trying to reel the fisherman. He's trying to catch himself a fisherman, and he's just about to do it. Look, he's about to flop himself onto that hook. Well and truly, he was getting himself really angry.
That text out. I bet he was absolutely chuckling to bits. But to me, the game yesterday, it was absolutely shocking from start to finish. We had a little bit of a flurry. I think probably, but 85 minutes. I think we had a bit of a flurry where the game
I'd gone home by then
in front of the North Stand. But you know, when you think of a substitution like Penny comes on, you think, well, that's not exactly a game changer, is it? You know, you might as well just kept Clements on and do something a bit different with the. I mean, 3 number 10s. Selena's never a number 10 in the middle, is he? He should be out left wide. And Fraser, what's he doing out left wide? In his most natural position, you know, or play him. I'd play Fraser. If Morsey could hold his position and stay in the position while he was, stay in his position and hold his. What are you laughing at?
Lewis Robertson, Mr. Creativity of Dazelle.
I just see it, Miss. Fuck you now.
Actually, they really like Dazelle at QPR, you know.
Danassian's got 4 assists this season, hasn't he? How did Dazelle get in 2 years? Anyway, so so Penny, I couldn't understand that substitution, and Goat was right. I think I'd have subbed him as well after that first cross. Ended up in the side net.
Oh, that was a dribbler. That was. It was like, go on, make an impression, and it just. Oh, fucking hell, that's terrible.
Do you disagree now, Rich, with Ben's 4 for Penny?
4. When did he give a 4 for Penny? Not last night.
No, it was early part of the season, and everyone hammered the poor kid for it.
No, he was all right then, but last night he was. I think when he came on, he must have given the ball away 5 or 6 times. Better going forward than Clements. He's better going forward than Clements, but he's still not good enough, is he?
I think Mark just likes to sit there sometimes and write things out. He knows he's going to get people upset.
The quality one.
Like I'm gonna, Mike D saying I'm gonna watch the Drinnan highlight package before I go to bed for my birthday. It's like I'm not going to be watching the Drinnan package.
Do you not think though? Yeah.
I try not to.
What was the point of bringing Piggott on in 72 minutes when the game was already gone?
Oh, here we go. Hang on, we can't be doing this. We can't be saying what's the point in doing him 2 minutes and then saying what's the point in giving him 20 minutes. He's a substitution. 9 times out of 10, you're coming on when things ain't going well. That's what the life of a substitution is.
What's he played? What was he played? 65 minutes the other night in a cup game. Got pulled off and he walked off shaking his head. These players are being ruined by Paul Cook. He needs to go. We were fed a load of crap. Then, if that's the case, by the owners and by Mark Ashton. Okay,
I'm getting deja vu. This is like sitting here with Lambert in charge.
If what they said about we're not going to tolerate this, we want players here to play for the club, we want players here to play 100%, 110% effort in, and we want players to work.
Josh Russell, Josh, get in the bin. We miss Norwood. Piss off.
Leave it. Right, you're out of time, Fisherman. Are we going to win Sunday?
Oh, do you know what? Probably. I'm past caring. I want Cook on.
Are you coming Sunday?
There's a 95% chance I am coming.
Are you having another hot dog, Mike? That hot dog looked nice that you had last night.
I know, you just wanted to get your hands on it, didn't you?
All right, Mike. Appreciate you coming on the show. Cheers. Colin, you've got 4 minutes. 5 minutes if I'm feeling generous.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you very much.
Have you had a good day?
I certainly have. How are you after last night? And have you got over your Matt Penny anguish?
Not really, no. I mean, when I heard what Ben said earlier, Oh my goodness gracious me! He obviously weren't watching the same Matt Penny as me. Goodness gracious! I'm not going over that ground again.
No,
I thought he was atrocious last night.
Yeah, you did act somewhat
Absolutely.
like you come home and found him, sat at your kitchen table drinking your coffee. So where do we go from here, Colin? Crewe at the weekend. Is this a game that we've got to win?
Oh goodness gracious! I thought that was a must-win last night. That makes that an even more must-win tomorrow night. Without a shadow of a doubt, man. And I think more importantly, I think it's how we win on Sunday as well. It's not just winning. I think it's winning well and, performing well. And by that, I mean all over the pitch, really. I think in a lot of ways, we were all questioning why they're playing Sunday. Like I said, Randy coming home last night, I think it's a very, very good thing that we are actually playing Sunday, because it actually gives us another day on the training ground before Sunday. I think that's a very, very good opportunity for the squad before a game that really on paper, and I know no games are won on paper, but really it's a game that we should dominate. And I'd be very, very disappointed if we don't win that game by 3 clear goals. I really would be very disappointed. Two at the very, very least. We've got to, like Rich said last night, we've got to be smashing them. We really have. I mean, it's got to be a kind of Doncaster performance for me. Maybe not a 6-0, but a Doncaster performance where we completely overwhelm them all over the pitch. You know what I mean? I think that we've got to be looking at that
in the long run, Colin. What would that mean in the long run if we overrun them? Because it's no good if you don't back it up, which we haven't done.
Well, no, Rich, I totally agree. You know, I agree with that. I mean, it's no good beating Crewe like we did against Doncaster. It's no good beating Crewe 3-4-0. And then I believe our next game after that in the league is against Charlton. Is that right, Gav?
Yeah, Charlton.
Yeah, and I mean, they're flying at the minute, as we've just spoke about a little while ago. It's not a game we can't win down there, for God's sake. 3,500 are a lot down there. Going to be banging, like it was at Plymouth and Pompey and Wigan. It makes a difference. We all know that. The people who do go on the away days and they sit or stand in these stands and see it and hear it. And to them players, it would for me, it would give me another 5 or 10%, and I'm sure it does most of them players. So do I think we will get a good result at Charlton? We should do. If we get a decent win against Crewe, we should go there with a bit of confidence and like the extra man and everybody, not just Rich, everybody was right. What they said tonight about the atmosphere last night. The atmosphere was dull. I can remember days. I know the young ones will go, oh, here he goes again. But I can remember days in the First Division when we were steamrolling everybody and we'd play somebody like Birmingham. I always use them as a prime example because they were rubbish.
During the war.
No, don't miss a chance. You know what I mean? And like we'd have the odd time where we get.
It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. You've had your 5 minutes.
No.
In the meter to extend the line.
Hey, we get the little 18, 19, 20,000 against Birmingham, and it'd be like, and it'd be like flat, But there again, and then we get the 28,000, 29,000 against Arsenal, and that'd be banging, But
Colin,
good old days.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. Look after yourself. And hopefully we'll get those good old days back again. You asked what it would do in the long run, Crunch. In the long run, TJ, if we were to beat Crewe, and we expect we are going to do on Sunday, would you then play your main team midweek against Arsenal and again against Barrow? Would you give them a run of games to get consistency, to get confidence?
Certainly in the FA Cup game, maybe a blend of fringe players and first team in the Mickey Mouse Cup, whatever it's called.
Crunch?
He'll change it up against Arsenal under 21s, because if you play your full team against them, and then if you play your full team there, Martin, and you get rolled over, Matt Phillips will be on here again, won't he? Like he was at Arsenal last year. We lost to 12-year-olds. I'll play the full team against Barrow. Definitely, 100%. Because if you don't, you're going over a week. Would that be a week and a half? They're not going to have no football. So I think he'll play the full team against Barrow. Will he against Arsenal? I probably think he'll mix and match for that game.
All right, we've got both your lineups here for the weekend. We'll start with yourself, TJ. You've got Piggott up front, Aluko left, Selina, Burns, Morsey, Elm, Mizani, KVY, Burgess. Talk us through that. Obviously, a couple of changes there. KVY left back being one, Elm Miz next to Morsey. Aluko, we're probably not going to be seeing due to the personal situation. I may be wrong on that. I don't know. But KVY and Elm Miz, talk to that.
Yeah, it's all subject to availability. But yeah, I just want to see what KVY can do down the left side, because I think he's played there before for Colchester at some point. So
he has.
Just see what that gives us width going forward. I want to see Burgess back in the middle with Edmonton. I think there are a couple of towers that will be really good for us. Elm is in there with Morsey, bit of bite. I think that will give us a bit more protection for these front three behind the main striker. I want to see Piggott given a go. And I think Crewe, with respect to them, might be a good opportunity to try that out. Yeah, I want to see Aluka play on the left and cut in and do some business there. Yeah, and I see Selina in the middle, but if not, I'll put Chaplin in there. But that's probably what I'll do.
Okay.
That's got to be a giant birthday cake if he jumps out of it.
Yeah, gone 10 o'clock. Ollie Hawkins about to jump out of Cubs' giant birthday cake. And Cruncher, you've gone for Piggott up front as well. Yeah. With Edwards left, Chaplin, Aluko, you've also gone for. Fraser, Morsey, JD, Burgess, Edmondson, KVY, and Walton. Talk us through that one.
Well, there's going to be some changes. Donassian's played left back, Martin, for Fleetwood, for Accrington. He's more than capable. I'd rather see him playing there than Penny. Scott Fraser, I was really impressed in that Colchester game when he played in that too. I think he offers more than Evans there, like with his passing range. Lee Evans, he's really disappointed me, Martin. You know, he came in with quite a big reputation, but he's not really performed, has he? And like you said, you can't keep picking people on reputation. They have to perform in the shirt. And if they're not performing, sit on the bench, you know?
Yeah.
Wait your turn. Yeah. You know, give Scott Fraser a go in there. Chaplin's your best number 10, I think, from what we've seen so far with his goals return. Aluko, I don't know about Aluko if he'll be available. And then Joe Piggott, he's got to have a run somewhere along the line, you know. I know Bon, I didn't think Bon had that bad a game last night, Martin, but he's fighting big centre halves.
Yeah.
You know, like you say, it's easy to play against Town, press the ball, look at the goal, you know, they done their work. It's a kick out from Walton, it's a header back, and then they scored. The thing that annoyed me last night, I can take losing, you know. Because you're going to lose games of football. We're Ipswich Town. We're in the third tier. It's the way we lost. Yeah. It's the way we lose. If we come out of that game and we've given everything, you know, I can accept that. But last night was just, we're waving the white flag. There's no urgency even at 2-0 down. We're going through the motions. This is have to say, look, we're going to lose 2-0. And that's not acceptable. It's not running towards adversity and all this bollocks that we heard earlier in the season. And it has to get better, because if it doesn't get better, Cook will pay with his job.
I agree. Mark Touchwood, the fact Cook dragged Evans off last night may mean the penny has finally dropped. Shambolics performance from him. Uncle Colin remembers us winning the trophies, though, everyone. He certainly does. I'd love to have seen the things that Colin has seen at Portman Road and elsewhere. Craig from Portsmouth says spot on. Rich, Mike D, our midfield was like a prime Bishop and Dazelle last night. We are back again.
Barry, they look like they didn't care, and we're not expecting this, Martin. This is a brand new team, a brand new regime, and we're expecting better, and we were promised better. And I know the owners watch this show. You know, what are they thinking sitting there in America watching that last night? I would love to know their thoughts. I really would.
Yeah. I'm just. I want Cook to get it right because that means the club is going in the
we all want him
in
to
the
get
right
it right.
direction. But yeah, we'll wait and we'll see what Crewe has in store for us. We're back Friday night with the press conference reaction show. Myself, that man there, and the media mogul Matt Phillips. Before I let you go, TJ, score prediction for Sunday, please.
1-0, Scrappy.
I'll take it. Fisherman. Cruncher.
2-0 Town.
2-0
Town. It's got to be. It has to be a win Sunday.
It does. It really
because
does.
Otherwise, the post-game show at Sir Ralph Ramsey, there will be steam coming out of our ears.
Particularly if the Fisherman is there. Don't forget, you can support us through Ko-Fi. Everything goes back into the channel. Thank you ever so much for supporting us through that option. Thank you for the super chats tonight. There have been many. So thank you all that you have done for that as well. Thank you for the lovely birthday wishes. And Matt Stunner says, love the show. Love this show tonight. Great work all. Thank you very much, Matt.
But feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back now. Let's move closer to a new history.